My name is Javier, and I was the caretaker for Christ Baptist Church. I'm pretty sure I'm getting arrested because there was somebody that called the police on me saying that I was breaking the windows of the church and setting the church on fire in the basement, which isn't true. I was hiding behind the aisles because there was somebody trying to break in and I didn't know what to do, so I ran and hid. Can you blame me? There was glass everywhere and smoke was coming up. I just didn't know what to do. I think they're also going to arrest me because of my past history of my bipolar disorder and that I've got some petty crimes in my past. I haven't been a very good person. So we will see what the evidence shows, but I am innocent.
Do you have discretion in the decision to arrest?
Yes, as an officer, it is my duty to make the call whether or not to arrest a suspect.
Will you arrest the suspect?
Yes, I will arrest the suspect in accordance with the evidence found against him.
What factors about the suspect led you to make this decision?
There is an eyewitness placing the suspect at the scene of the crime. He was also found hiding inside the church by first responders after the fire.
How harshly do you think they should be punished by the criminal justice system?
As the arresting officer, the extent of punishment is not for me to decide. My duty is to gather evidence from the scene and provide that to the courts so they can decide any necessary punishment.
If this crime had occurred in a different state, how might your discretion be different?
No matter what state a crime occurs in, a police officer will have discretion when it comes to making an arrest.
As the prosecutor in this case, it was my job to determine under California state law which charges we were going to prosecute Javier for. In this case, I went with second-degree burglary, malicious arson, and that is dependent on the fact that we can prove intent in the case, and then other possible charges of trespassing, vandalism, and hate crime. My second job as prosecutor in this case was to determine whether or not we would offer a plea deal and then to define the terms if we were. So I decided to offer a plea deal. My terms would have been 4 years probation, to seek treatment for bipolar disorder, and to pay restitution to the church in the form of $50,000 of the $100,000 in damages. And this was based off the fact that this was his first felony offense. There were no injuries, and I don't think him likely to recommit or to further commit crimes. And then the fact that the California prison systems are already overcrowded with much more violent offenders.
My name is Bentley Luno. For this scenario, I was the judge for the case of Javier Ruiz. He was found guilty. I had the option of sentencing him to a maximum of 3 years in prison in the state of California for felony arson. I chose to sentence Mr. Ruiz to 1 year in prison with a $50,000 restitution due to the Christ Baptist Church for the damage that he caused to the property. I also concluded that due to Mr. Ruiz's mental condition of bipolar disorder, he would be a candidate for probation and counseling in a group and an individual setting, continued medication and transitional housing. And bringing him back to a stable environment seemed to be the best way to have him serve out his punishment for the crimes he committed, as well as dealing with his psychological issues and bringing him back to being a productive member of society. And that is why I did the sentencing the way I did, and I thank you very much for your time.
My name is Bert Schrock, and I'll be playing the parole officer in the Arson Group project. What is the parole plan and rules that you're going to develop for the offender? I will treat this with regular reentry supervision and related services during their transition period from prison to their permanent residence. All parolees are given general terms of parole set forth by the California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation. I'll also be giving Mr. Ruiz 5 special conditions of parole listed in this priority. 1, the parolee may not be in control of an open flame. 2, they may not be in possession of any item that can be used to make or ignite a fire. 3, they may not come within 25 feet of the 2 aforementioned items. 4, the parolee must register as an arson offender with the local law enforcement agency that holds jurisdiction over their residence within 14 days of being released. 5, the parolee must continue paying restoration fees associated with their arson conviction. How likely is it that you will send the parolee back to prison if they violate a special condition number 4, and why? Arson registration. Penal Code Section 457.1 subsection I states parole can be revoked if the parolee does not register within the time frame given. In this scenario, Mr. Ruiz did not register, so his parole was revoked, and he was sent back to prison to carry out the remainder of his sentence. There was no discretion used here. It was a clear violation, so I sent him back to prison.